like, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's talk about these week 10 challenges. Now, before we get into them, I gotta tell you guys now, I'm making this video early, of course. Week 10 challenges aren't out for another week. So these are the ones that are found in the files right now, but there is a possibility and a chance that some of these challenges could be switched before next week because, of course, they basically have a week to switch up the files. Maybe they change their mind. Maybe they come up with another idea. Epic Games has been known for this. So if when these challenges come out, if one or two of them are incorrect, it's because that was the original idea, but of course they can change the plan. So I can only keep you guys updated on what's in the files right now when they were leaked. So keep that in mind, that some of these could change, but this is what it is right now, data mined in the files. Let's get into it. First challenge is going to be for 5 battle stars to deal damage to opponent structures, and this is to deal 5,000 damage. Now, this is probably a very, very easy challenge. To be honest, it's kind of a weird challenge because you have to do 5,000 damage to opponent structures. This is kind of easy if you make it to late game. Even if you make it to early game, just spray at their bases, and this probably could be an annoying thing because it means more people are going to be spraying at other people's bases, but spraying at people's walls, you can get 5,000 damage. While it seems like a lot, it can be done fairly quickly, especially if, you have rocket launchers. If you're, late game, you're shooting down people's bases. This can be done in just a couple of matches. Of course, it does sound intimidating, 5,000 damage, but the fact is you don't have to hit people. You're just hitting walls. And if you can't hit a wall, you got to work on your accuracy a little bit, right? So 5,000 damage to opponent structures. That is the first challenge of the week. Next one is going to be to search a chest, ammo box, and a supply drop in a single match. So this one is the chest, easy, right? You should be opening a chest every single match. Supply or ammo crate, you should be opening an ammo box every single match as well. Where this gets interesting is the supply drop. You have to complete all 3 in a match. So basically, you're going to be doing those 2 almost every single match. It's going to come down to that supply drop, right? And my tips for finding supply drops are you want to stay towards the middle area of zones. That's where I find that they can be. They're either on the middle or usually they're around the middle sort of area. If you can get to the middle area of zones, and basically when the storm's moving in, every time the storm switches up, look up in the sky and you'll see a couple of them dropping in. Make your way over to them, set up about one by one about 2 or 3 stories up, and then wait for the supply drop to come down. Of course, a lot of people are going to be going for that to try to complete that challenge, but that's what I can give you guys as far as tips for that. It's going to be basically to open a supply drop. We had similar ones like this before, and that's what it's going to be. Next challenge is going to be to search chests in Junk Junction. Now, every single week, we have the challenge to search for 7 chests in a single location, of course. This week, it is going to be Junk Junction. Now, I don't know what their obsession has been with Junk Junction lately, but it's been crazy. That's where the Battlestar was last week, and now you have to go there to search 7 chests. So, of course, we all know how this challenge goes. It's probably one of the most frustrating ones in the game because it's not hard to do, but it's just annoying because everyone's going to go there right when the challenges go live. So, what I have for you guys, I'll throw it up on the screen right now. This is a map of all the chests at Junk Junction. Now, as you guys can see, this one's kind of weird because they're pretty evenly spread out. And usually what you want to do to complete these challenges, you want to go to the area where less people are going to go. In my opinion, it's probably going to be that left side where you can get those 2 chests. That's probably going to be the best area to go if it is super packed in Junk Junction. There is a total of around 10 chests there, something like that. I think it is 10 exactly chests there. So not too many to get there. But of course, remember, this is 7 chests that you can get over the course of multiple games. So I would say probably land to that left side, get 1 to 2 chests a game, rinse and repeat, and then eventually you'll be able to beat that challenge. But the best tip to complete this is you have to focus on your drops. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago for week 7 for going for the blockbuster, it was all about who can get the drop first and get to the chest, and that's very, very key. So if you want to get prepared for this challenge, you can practice your drops to Junk Junction. Junk Junction is actually a really good place to land if you just want to play for wins, and then hey, you could, if you practice now, you'll be ready for it next week when this challenge is out. That's basically what it's going to be for the searching the chest one. Next challenge is going to be to skydive through floating rings, and this is 10 floating rings. Now, if you remember back to last season, basically what this means is when you jump out of the battle bus, there's going to be these rings all over the sky, right? And all you have to do is simply position your body and glide right through those. You can either glide, you can skydive right through those, and it will count. And you have to do that 10 times. Now, the reason why I think this challenge won't be changed, I mean, there's a possibility that this one could be changed before next week. But in the latest patch notes, I noticed that they did do some updates to do with the floating rings. They updated some things to do with it. And why would they do that if this wasn't going to be a challenge? So I'm assuming this challenge will stay put till next week. Who knows? It could always change. But skydive through 10 floating rings. This one is very easy. The fact is, it can kind of mess up your flight paths though and make you land late and different stuff like that. I suggest just take 2 to 3 games where you don't really care about the actual game, and you just sort of play a mini game and try to go down with your glider and hit as many as them. You could probably hit 3 to 4 each time, and you can get this challenge done fairly simple. It is kind of weird because a lot of people are going to be landing late now because of this. We had this challenge previously. I don't think anyone really had trouble with it. It's going to be pretty much the exact same as we had before, and that's what we're getting a lot more of. Of course, we had the Hungry Gnomes, which was essentially the same as the other gnomes we had, but a little bit different. There was rumors of having another taco shop challenge, which could be for this next week, but I'm assuming it's going to be the skydive one that we find in the files. Next challenge is, these are the hard challenges now. These ones grant 10 battle stars, which is the equivalent to 1 full tier on your battle pass. So if you're trying to, you're only a couple levels off of that Omega, these are the nitty gritty ones that really do matter. First one is going to be to eliminate 10 opponents. Now, this is fairly simple. You just have to get 10 kills, and there's no time limit to this. There's no game limit, so it doesn't matter your skill level. However long it takes you to get 10 kills, it'll take to get 10 kills. My suggestion, if you really want the fastest way to get this done, is going to be pretty obvious. You go to the areas where most people are going to be, which would probably be Tilted Towers, Junk Junction because of the challenges, or even the next challenge is to eliminate opponents in Fatal Fields. Now, this one we had for this week as Anarchy Acres. Now it's Fatal Fields, basically the same thing on the other side of the map. They're not really being too creative after the blockbuster for these last week 8, 9, and 10 challenges. They haven't been as creative, but I'm sure in Season 5 for the first weeks, like the first 7-week challenges are going to be super creative and super awesome because Epic Games is known for that. But basically, you have to eliminate 3 opponents in Fatal Fields, right? So why don't you double it up? You go Fatal Fields, you get those kills that count for your challenge to eliminate in Fatal Fields, but they also count towards your 10 opponent eliminations for the other challenge. So you're basically getting a little 2-for-1 combo there and completing that one fairly simply. And then, of course, the last challenge is, it says here it's going to be to follow the treasure map. Now, with this one, it's kind of, there's some debate around this. So basically what happened last week, if you guys were staying tuned to my channel, is the challenge for this week 9 was supposed to be to search between movie titles, right? So I made the video on that, and about literally an hour to, or two, I think it was two hours or an hour before the challenges were actually out, suddenly they switched it, Epic Games, to follow the treasure map in Haunted Hills. So I'm assuming they switched those around the week 10 and 9. So I'm guessing that that was meant to be for week 10. Now they switched the Haunted Hills treasure map into week 9. So I'm assuming probably week 10 will be to search between movie titles, which of course I already have the video, and I'll upload it again as a week 10 when it gets closer to it, so you guys can know that. Now there's a chance this could be something completely different, but based off the history, it usually goes search between and then a follow treasure map, and then a search between and then a follow treasure map. And that's the cycle that they've been doing over and over and over again. And if we continue on that cycle, last week's was follow the treasure map, so this week would be to search between, and it looks like that's probably what it's going to be, possibly through the movie titles or maybe something completely different. We don't really know right now, as this is the one that they really wait until the last second to change, so we'll have to wait and see for that. That's what we have as far as these week 10 challenges. In my opinion, they are all pretty easy. The toughest one is definitely going to be to the chest and Junk Junction. Those ones are always so annoying because they kind of do it to spread out the map, but it really does affect the gameplay in my opinion, and I'd kind of like it if they mix that challenge up for the next season. Because of that, you know, a lot of people go towards one area to complete the challenges, and it kind of ruins the flow of gameplay. Like I remember when the blockbuster came out on the week 7, you would literally at the end of the first circle would like just start to move in, and there would be 10 to 15 people left in the game because everyone was going risky reels, everyone was going tilted for the battle star, everyone was going for the eliminations. I think it was Pleasant Park or something like that. Like everyone, or no, Shifty Shafts was what it was. So I think that maybe they could retune some challenges for season 5, but that's what we have for season 4 week 10. Hope you guys did enjoy. Smack a like on this thing, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and have a great night. I'm out. Peace.